This is the final one for the evening. Should collectors be checking BST groups for deals? And even Sideshow, right? I mean, honestly, for me, I don't really check BST groups as much. I don't like buying used, personally. I have bought used plenty of times. There are many people who buy used with great success. You find some killer deals out there. That said, I don't like incurring that much risk into my collecting. I've had some situations where things didn't go as well. Maybe something was broken. Maybe a figure smelled like smoke or something like that, right? Those things can happen. You always take on a little bit of risk when you're buying used, but the payoff can be very tremendous because you're getting a figure for a discounted price, sometimes significantly so, that's pretty much like new or new for that matter. So it's something to think about. Ben, do you think people should be scouting deals daily? Because this is also, you have to factor in, you also don't want to overextend your budget, right? So that's how I view it. So if you're scouting deals, that's also more scouting temptation. You're inviting more temptation into your life, which I look at Sideshow pretty much every day for the deals. So especially during this birthday thing, they've had, honestly, Kiko and I said this, I know he didn't always agree, but they've had some banger deals so far for this birthday thing. I mean, Kiko did raise a good point about Captain America. Captain America was like $70 off, but Kiko was like, yeah, but everyone who wanted that already has it. That's a good point. That's a fair point. But they still have some good deals nonetheless. But Ben, what do you do? Do you scout deals pretty frequently, like on BST groups or Sideshow? What do you do?
I do. So since I'm in Canada, and like I know I've mentioned this probably before, to my detriment, I have to pay pretty hefty shipping cost to get figures from Sideshow here. The wait time is at least a week, if not sometimes longer. For whatever reason, DHL always brings it to the wrong office in my office building, so I always have to go like relentlessly chase this thing down when it arrives. It always feels a little stressful, and I have to pay a customs fee every single time. My Iron Man Mark 7 diecast, that was like a $70 customs fee on top of all the additional costs. If I want to figure brand spanking new, yeah, I always look at Sideshow first. One of the reasons I do that though is to also then say that's going up in
There it is.
price.
It's
You hate
going
to
blue
see
screen,
it.
baby.
It's going
It's
blue
going blue
screen.
screen.
One of the reasons I do that is so that I can compare the pricing that I then see on buy sell trade groups. Because if I could get it from Sideshow at a discounted rate and it's a brand new figure and it's at least comparable to what I'm seeing on buy sell trade, then I'll be patient and I'll wait and I'll get a new figure in hand. I got my Bane behind me loose a few years ago now, 2 years ago, for $100. He didn't come with any of his accessories other than just his hand. Like he came with fisted hands and the figure, no peeling, $100. I loved it. I still love it. It's still one of my favorite figures in the collection, and I got that through a buy sell trade group. It just happened to pop up there. A guy was shedding his collection, and I got lucky. The buy sell trade groups though can be tricky for a couple of reasons. So you called it out on things like damage that you can't predict, smoke, smell, some of that stuff. My recommendation is join groups that have like reference checks available. So I'm on Hot Toys Canada. Usually on there, people have bought from each other in the past. So if I'm gonna go buy something from there, I can kind of type in, "Hey, like, has any ever bought from this person before? Are they reputable?" And almost guaranteed, you'll get at least one or two responses to say, "Yep, it clears. It's all good. Good luck with your purchase," sort of thing. You feel like you can buy with confidence, similarly to how you would buy from Sideshow. It's dangerous though because sometimes there are good deals, and when you've got some cash burning a hole in your pocket, it is easy to make a deal and go and pick it up that particular day if you're feeling like you want to. And sometimes it will mean that you skip some of those good steps that you should take, like reference checking and stuff like that. So I would still use skepticism when buying from it, but for the most part, all the folks that I've ever bought used figures from collect figures the same way that I do. They usually take them out of the box, do relatively light posing, put it in a detolf, it sits there for a while, they move the figure on. So usually the figure's in pretty good quality, and I can get about $150 discount in comparison to what I'd have to pay if I was buying the figure brand new. So cost-wise, it almost doesn't compare. So I definitely check it out. But I also then find there are days where I'll look at it just to see what's floating around Calgary, and all of a sudden I'm making a deal on a figure I don't need, like the sideshow Deadpool that I have in my collection. That popped up for $120. I already had Deadpool 2. I didn't have really any connection to the comic book Deadpool, but I was like, $120 is pretty good. I went and picked it up, put it in my display, and it's the one figure now that I want to move on. Because not that it's a
Mm,
bad figure, but like I bought it because I just wanted to buy something that day. I didn't buy it because I actually like really wanted it or needed it in the collection. And ever since, to me, it feels like it stands out in comparison to the other figures I've got. And now nobody wants to buy it from me. I'm kind of stuck with it. At this point, I might as well keep it because I'm just going to take a loss on it. I might as well keep it. But then
yeah.
it's taking up space or real estate that something else could take up. And what am I going to do? Just stick it in the maintenance room? Like that doesn't feel worth it
Right.
either. So just be cautious if you're going to consider it. But I would
Yeah.
definitely recommend looking at them for sure.
Yeah. I like looking, I mean, at least window shopping. So, and they also have Sideshow second. So, and we got a good question. Adam JT 10 316. Hi, I'm new to collecting. I'm in the US. What's a good website I can use to buy or trade? So, I think we can all probably answer this one. I use 16 Republic BST pretty frequently. There are plenty. There's Hot Toys Not Toys. I think that's another group. There are plenty of others out there that you guys could probably look at. But Facebook groups, Adam, are a really good resource. But you have to use your good judgment, like Ben said. You have to really look at sort of the details of the transaction. Make sure if you are buying something that you are paying for PayPal goods and services. That's an important part of your protection. Trading, I don't know if you guys can speak to that. I've not traded before. I would feel very uncomfortable with that unless I knew the person. Like if I was trading with Ben, I'd do it, right? But like if or trading with Kiko, I'd do it. But if I have someone I didn't know, I'd be much more hesitant. So Kiko, what do you think about this? I mean, is there any recommendations you have? I mean, do you buy used much? Do you shop for deals? What do you think?
So this is an interesting conversation because it's obviously going to apply to the person and their situation. There's some people that they're chasing a certain figure, like say, hey, I'm looking for this figure and I want to see when it comes back up. If
Right.
that's your chase figure and you're just trying to hope that it comes up, like for example, there's on my, because I use eBay a lot. I use eBay for a lot of stuff. You know,
eBay,
there's
yeah.
buyer protection. You know, you can find fairly decent deals. That's my go-to. A lot of my stuff is from eBay. With that being said, is I have some saved searches that trigger whenever those criteria are met and be like, okay, there's some new listings for this because I'm chasing this. I think that's okay. But I think there is an issue when, okay, I'm just going to go through and scroll to see what's out there because then you're just getting something. I think because Ben mentioned that. Why are you actually getting it? Because it's a good deal. Don't ever buy something just because it's a good deal or you haven't bought something in a while and you're bored. You end up with stuff you don't want. So don't do that. The most important thing is getting things that mean something to you and getting it at a good deal. If that's a great thing, be cautious and don't just scroll through and like, oh, sweet. This is a figure. Think about the worst figure out there that no one likes or whatever, but say it's $100. You're like, oh man, this is awesome. It's too good to not pass or it's too good to pass up. Then you end up with something that nobody's wants. It's being sold for a reason. And now you have it and you don't want it, but it was a good deal, right? So that's my thing. I feel like there's two things. If you're searching for a chase figure, that's fine. Do it. But don't just scroll to scroll like, oh, let's see what the Sideshow seconds have. Because most likely, if you're on the Sideshow seconds or whatever it is, you're scrolling through there looking for a deal, it's because you've had an opportunity to get this and you're either waiting for that chase figure or you're just waiting to see if there's a deal. And if you're just shopping for a deal, don't shop just for deals. Get something you actually want.
Yeah, because I've always said, Kiko, just because it's a good deal doesn't mean it's a good deal for you. And that's, I think, why it's really important to sit down and think about, yes, because I browse the deals. I will say, in that sense, I do browse the deals. But how often do I actually go after the deal? Very rarely. Like I'll look at the deals and I'll be like, that's kind of tempting anyway. And I move on to the next one. That's pretty much what I do.
And I love
very
what you
rarely
did. I love what you did. If there's something that you see that's a good deal and you're like, I'll consider that, but I'm going to wait. Right. If it's still available after a certain amount of time, then I'll get it. But if it's gone, the universe spoke. I didn't need to have it. And so if it's a deal you see, oh, that's the one I need. I can't miss this, submit a bid, make an offer, blah, blah, blah. That's different. But if it's something you're like, I could take or leave it, just wait. See if it's still there. See how you feel.
Yeah.
It's the unplugging and the pausing. That pregnant pause really allows you to, oh, maybe not.
And Kigo, yeah, like we've all said, this is not a unique strategy, a marketing strategy new to collecting. Like every Black Friday is the biggest example of this. They discount all these things, and you're like, well, it's on sale, I might as well get it, and then you never use it ever once. So it's like this Shore Trooper. It's a great figure, I'm sure, and I've had the Shore Trooper. It's pretty cool. But for the people maybe who are like, oh, maybe I should buy this because it's on sale, but it's not a bad idea. Maybe you'll love it, but chances are you probably didn't really want that Shore Trooper. You just got it.
It's almost got me. This particular figure has almost got me a couple times.
Yeah,
I've hovered over it a few.
And
I'm
you
like,
may
it's
love
a good
it,
deal,
but it's a risk, Ben. It's a risk.
The only other thing I'll say about buy sell trade is the other cool thing, like for the new collectors out there, you can put in search of posts as well in those groups, right? So you can put in search of or ISO, Bane, or something along those lines, and if it pops up, somebody can offer it to you. It's something that is a way to find figures without having to do a lot of that chase yourself. The only other thing I'll say there is, if you're ever trying to do a transaction with somebody, maybe you can't get references for that person. It sounds obvious, but make sure you're asking for pictures. And if that collector isn't willing to work with you, answer absolutely every nitpicky question you might have, or send you some photos or any of the things, don't do the deal. Because I know, at least for me and all the collectors I've ever bought from, it's usually very easy. I can ask for a couple of extra pictures if needed, send me a video of it in your hand, like whatever it is. If that person is committed to selling that to you, they will do it and they'll get it out. It can be a bit of an annoyance for everybody involved, but it makes you feel like your purchase is protected. If somebody's not willing to work with you on that on a buy sell trade group, skip it. Go on to the next one.
Yeah, I agree.